Hello, good evening, and welcome to the full-time Reds from the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav, that's Kev. Liverpool 3, Norwich 1 at Anfield, finished about 10 minutes or so ago. Liverpool take the 3 points, and do they put pressure on City? I'm not too sure. City are home to Spurs. That kicks off in about half an hour's time, if I remember rightly. If you're in the chat, you're very, very welcome. Hit the like button while you're in there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share across your social media. And most of all, put those comments in there, and we'll read as many as we possibly can as we go throughout the show. Kev, 3-1 win. Not the perfect performance by any means. Bit of a strange lineup. I don't think that many predicted, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, that's all that matters, the 3 points. But you'd like to get there a bit more comfortable than what we did. But at the same time, playing sides from here on out that are down and around the bottom of the table are going to fight tooth and nail for everything. And today was no different. Norwich gave it a right go, and credit to them. They were brave playing it out from the back. They tried to create overloads. They tried to play. And they're a completely different side to the one we played earlier in the season under Dean Smith. And, whether he gets them safe or not, I don't know. But part of me is glad we don't do a halftime reaction show.
Yeah.
that would have been interesting. But it was one of those performances. Like, I thought once it clicked, we'd have been fine. It was just getting that one. And in the first half, we could have had 2 or 3. We created enough chances. We had enough. I think we had about 15 efforts in the first half, something like that.
I think it was about 12 first half, 4 on target. I think something along them lines.
But there was enough chances. They were better than half chances, and you take one of them, and it's a completely different game. You relax into it a lot more. It's just even I thought from the set pieces today we were poor.
Yeah,
but ordinarily we're the opposite of that.
Well, looking at the team, Alisson starts. He puts Gomez right back. I'm not a fan of Gomez or right back, but needs must, I suppose. He probably gets if he wants to rest Trent, he probably gets the nod over Milner, because I think their best player is probably the guy Rashika, who can get at people down that left-hand side, and he proved to be their best player, I thought, today as well.
Yeah.
He goes with Matip and Konate, which we thought he would after Matip and Van Dijk after Konate playing during the week. He gives Robertson a rest and puts Tsimikas in there. The midfield is where I was a bit concerned. Henderson in that 6 just doesn't really do it for me. And when you add in the 2 of Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain, I can see the reason behind Oxlade-Chamberlain to get into spaces and shots or whatever it might be, but there was no real controller in there, and it felt a bit 4-2-3-1-ish.
It was. And that's how it lined up.
Yeah, up front he plays Diaz. He plays Manny down the middle, which is fair enough, and Salah off the right-hand side.
Yeah.
But it was a mad start to it. Like, Norwich cross went in that Alisson has to tip over the bar.
Yeah.
There's another one in Liverpool box. Then Tsimikas should score. How he doesn't is beyond me. Then they put the ball in the net. He's well offside, really well held line.
By match of the day tonight, that's going to be a golden chance.
Oh yeah. They'll probably count that as 1-0.
Yeah.
But the line was brilliant on that. Pukki has that chance where he does really well to get back on side and take it. I expected him to score, but it was just end to end. Salah was brilliant, I thought. He ran that poor fella Williams ragged for most of the game, but it was a mad start to the game, wasn't it? Look, I was expecting Norwich to come out and see what they could do, and Pukki up front on his own, alone forage, and maybe Rashika and the other guy,
Sargent. Josh Sargent.
Yeah, trying to support him, but Norwich came out and had a go, in fairness to them. For the first 5-10 anyway.
Yeah, for the first 10 minutes, they were really brave. And that switch over towards Joe Gomez, they were trying to get in on that with Rashika quite a lot. He's a really good player. When they signed him from Werder Bremen, I thought, that's a clever signing. If he works out for the price they paid, then that could be really, really good. It just hasn't clicked for him yet. I think it will. I think it might take going down and coming back up for him to really find his feet in English football. But see, I was the opposite. I thought Henderson was good today.
Well, let me read out a few comments. Let me read out a few comments, and then we'll have not an argument over Henderson. But KGPG Godenks, I'm going to say. He says, don't blame Hendo. The other two he was partnered with are not good enough. Made hard work at us, Klopp the Mystic. Patrick Flannery felt the rocks was dreadful. Gomez did what he had to do, and it's unfair to play him a right back and judge him against Trent. I don't think we will judge him in that sense. Dilip Vasudevan, I hope I have that right. Felt like we made it more difficult than necessary, but a good win nonetheless. Now the ball is in Tottenham's court. Last week at the Leicester game, I got the feeling like a couple of years ago, it doesn't matter what they do, we'll win. Same today, says Red Steve. I thought Gomez was bloody good at right back today, just not as good as the Liverpool right back. Defensively excellent, says Pasio, just fair. Short sleeves and gloves on the mad Colombian. I'm in love already, says Calvin Van Voren. Sukhvinder Singh says, come on, you what you read. Kev Ball says, match of the day, can't wait to talk about it. The offside goal, yeah, I'd say so. And but all that matters is 3 points at the business end of this season, says Klopp the Mystic. The midfield just didn't sit right with me, Kev.
No, go on, sorry.
I thought Keita was fairly anonymous. Yeah. All right. And although Chamberlain tried going forward, I just felt we were so open. When they got a chance to run at us, especially in the first 15, I thought, where are these two gone? I felt sorry for Henderson. I think he was trying to cover a lot of ground that middle of the park because Norwich in the first 15 for me were playing 2 and 3 passes and they were getting at Henderson. And it's hard. They had 5 in midfield. They had 3 lads sitting in there and they were literally doubling up on Henderson and running at him, which is not... I've no issue that way. Henderson for me didn't do it today because he spent an awful lot of time playing the ball backwards. And he spent a lot of time playing balls, easy ones to fullbacks. Instead of turning out with the ball and being confident in himself, to turn out and commit a Norwich player and get beyond them and then look to play. That's where I felt Henderson let him down. Let himself down, just in that sense. Going backwards, he worked very hard and I think he was left a bit exposed by the other two. But you can have your say on him.
Yeah, I thought he was the way when he got the ball, he kept it moving, he kept it ticking over. He was the system we lined up in a 4-2-3-1 from the start. It was so blatantly obvious. And to get that to work, you have to have an outlet up front that you can bounce off. And Chamberlain was supposed to be that, and he wasn't. Whether he just couldn't pick up the right spaces, or when he did get it, it bounced off him. It just never worked. And when you're left, and he was left 3v1, 2v1, because Naby was going on a wander, then against a 4-3-3, you are going to get played around. And Norwich are very confident in the way they were playing around. You know, they managed to get a quick ball out and move it up front really well in the majority of cases. Once they broke the press of the front four, they were at you. And that's probably, I'd put a lot of the blame for not correcting it early enough on Klopp. He should have seen this after 15 minutes and switched it to a 4-3-3 and asked Sadio to drop deeper to make the extra man. He didn't. But saying all of that, we still had more than enough chances in the first half. You know, they were limited to 1 or 2 chances, but I thought in general
after the Pukki chance, that's it for Norwich.
Yeah, we had the better of the play.
Yeah, after the Pukki chance, that's it. Liverpool are in complete control. Ben Ebbett says, I thought Henderson was really good. Peter Anderson is utterly opposed to the narrative that Hendo isn't good enough in the 6. He had a great game. I'm not saying he's not good enough in the 6. I'm just saying in the defensive side of the game, I thought he done really well. And even coupled with the fact that I don't think Chamberlain and at times Keita gave him an awful lot of help. I'm saying in that position, against that sort of opposition, he needs to turn out with the ball more. You know, there was a couple of times, like he went on the break early in the game and he's running with it and there's 3 guys in front of him and he stops and turns and plays it back to the centre-back. You know, Now, there is times when you need to get it down and you ping it to a centre-back or a full-back just to get yourself set. You might be under a bit of pressure and slow it down, and I've no problem with that. But the game today called for Henderson, I think, to progress a little bit more with the ball. Fabinho would do it. Fabinho would take it and commit somebody, go beyond them. He might play the full-back then, but he's committed something. He's committed someone where, you know, we've one less Norwich player behind the ball. Do you know what I mean? And in fairness, I thought as the game went on, I thought Henderson got better and better.
Yeah.
But I think it was helped by the fact of the changes we made. But we'll get on to that. But there was some misses. Like Simicast one was fucking mad, wasn't it? Like
all he had to do was get over the ball.
Yeah.
Whether he slips when he takes it, or
hits it too well.
It was a harder chance to miss.
Yeah,
it was a harder chance to miss, and he had one then on his right foot. That, look, his right foot is for sending on. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
but the one that the cross came across for all he had to do was get over it and get it on target, and it was
or even scuff it.
Yeah,
actually,
anything.
Do you know what? Miss-hit it and it goes in the goal. Miss-hit it in any way, it goes in the goal.
Yeah, it was just one of those. And the thing is, that was so early as well.
Yeah, and do you know what? He was really good, Tsimikas, I thought, at getting in at that back post. Robertson's step stands out a little bit more because he's nearly like he's the outlet. If we lose a ball off the back post, say a Mane gets it or a Diaz today, Robertson's always kind of in that area, 15 yards from goal, on the line of the box where he's going, give it to me and I'll put it back in, or I'll filter it back out to the midfield and we go again. But Tsimikas was intent on getting in at that back post, and there was a couple of balls from Ox. There was one from Hendo which was good around the back, and it was causing them problems, wasn't it? Like they clear one off the line from a Salah header. We could have went in there 3-1 at half time, Kev.
Yeah, and there wouldn't have been much of an argument about it, and it's a different game. I mean, some of the reaction at halftime was over the top, to say the least, but you expect that.
Where are you reading it?
Where do you think?
Well, then that's your fault.
That's my fault. In fairness, I was looking at the at our Telegram group, and it was very measured. You could tell the difference.
Yeah.
And it was, look, it'll come. And it would. It was one of those games where we were just creating too many chances for it not to fall right. And it was unfortunate the way they got ahead, but it was probably to kick up the arse that they needed to sort themselves out and start taking things more seriously. And they did.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, Salah down the right I thought was brilliant. I think Brandon Williams is a decent footballer. He's on loan up from United. But Salah had him inside out, I don't know how many times, and then it got to the stage where he's afraid to go near him or get close to him, because he was at one stage he was down the right hand side in the first half, and there was players everywhere, and all of a sudden he just comes out with it. I don't know how he done it, but he gets out of it, and I think Brandon Williams went, if I get too tight here, he's going to destroy me. But then he wasn't getting tight enough, and Salah was able to pick passes and going that way. But down the left hand side, I felt that although Tsimikas was trying to get in at the back post, I get all that, they were missing that midfielder. You know, when you're playing a 4-2-3-1, they were missing that midfielder that's on like a Thiago on the left of a tree, where he's there all the time, and Luis Diaz could stay out wide. He was trying to get inside a bit more, and it wasn't kind of working down the left hand side. But at half time, I wasn't worried. Were you worried?
No, I wasn't worried. I thought Luis Diaz in the first half, I thought he was fairly anonymous.
Good shot. He actually had a good shot where he came inside and he was unlucky.
Yeah,
shifting inside.
He was. You could tell he was. He's new, and he's going to have to settle. But at the minute, with the couple of injuries that we've picked up, he's going to have to learn on the job. But in the second half, when we made the changes and changed shape, he came into his own. He was a different player.
The Thor says, I think we need to reflect on how ridiculous the level is. We be critical, but look at the margin for error. It's unreal the start of the league. It's unreal how the start of the league is. Every game is a just win for Liverpool. JLL the boy says, how bad is the Anfield pitch looking, by the way? 6 more home games in 2 weeks isn't going to help. I think it's absolutely being battered over the last 48 hours with incessant rain. And no matter how good your pitch is, and no matter how well you treat it, once it's that wet and you get players running all over it, it's going to suffer. But trust me, they'll be all over that pitch from now until Wednesday, and it'll look fine come Wednesday, and a little bit of dry weather, and it'll absolutely fine, because like pitches will cut up a little bit, but I thought the pitch held up fairly well for the amount of bad weather.
It played evenly enough anyway. The passes were pretty right. It turned up a little bit. You expect that after the weather that we've had in the last 2 days. For anyone who's not in the UK or in Ireland, my God, it's been atrocious for the last few days.
Yeah,
but all it needs now is a good bit of drying weather, and you'll be grand.
I watched the thing. A shout out for another YouTube channel here, right? Completely not relevant to us, but Big Jet TV, right? One of the lads showed me. One of the lads in the WhatsApp group banged it in yesterday, and he was like, "Check this out, boys! They're trying to land the planes at Heathrow," and I knocked her on at about 12:30. Just had her on my phone on the counter in the kitchen, and your man was going from 9 o'clock that morning, right? And you want to see the planes coming in trying to land to our side. It was ridiculous.
Well, and we lost our power at about 8:30 yesterday morning, and it came back on around tea time.
Yeah.
So it was like I seen when I turned my phone back on and I seen like you got to check this out. You got to check this out.
Yeah,
I had a quick look after it, man.
it was
It's
unbelievable.
insane.
And he was
Did you
in
see the
the.
one with the ferry? The
I
one
seen the one with the ferry, but this fella
Garfunkel.
on Big Jet TV was on like the top of his car, up on a hill, looking over Heathrow. There was horses running around him and everything, and there was like 250,000 people watching it. He ended up getting I think
Insane.
6.6 million views I had today. It
Oh,
was absolutely
massive.
incredible, and that was it. That was the sort of weather we had. Like in the space of an hour where I am yesterday, it was really windy, sunny, lashing rain, sleet, hail, snow.
Yeah.
Sunny again, but the wind just never gave up, and then it lashed rain overnight again. But Chris says
Mental.
the only big disappointment today was our betmate performance. I believe we came around 30 something, and that was Daniel Dawson. I think that was given the picks this week, so he's off the list. He's not playing anymore. But we'll have another go at it during the week for the Leeds game as we move on. Anyway, half time, it's 0-0. I'm never worried because I always feel Klopp would have had a look at 45. He would have picked out things we had to do, and he usually sends them back out and we're really good. Especially when we're not cruising, when we need something, we're usually really good. But there's a bit of a sucker punch that comes. Rashika gets that goal. It's just one of those. Kev, like, he's probably not closed down quick enough. Matip can't do anything. Alisson can't really do anything.
No.
And we're 1-0 down, and that's probably where
Alisson hadn't a chance. Ox could have probably closed the angle a bit better, but to be fair, Rashika turns in quick and gets his shot off. Once the shot went off, Joel Matip, it's a natural reaction to put your foot out. And it's one of those. If it goes, it goes. You know, at 1-0 down, you're thinking, yeah, it could have done without that.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, it
wasn't the 88 minute, Kev, it was the 48.
Yeah,
so you're kind
that
of
was
going,
a long time
to go. And for all that we weren't great in the first half, although we did have chances, Norwich had to do an awful lot of running to cover spaces.
Yeah.
And even if they got out and played up the pitch, we got back at them straight away. So Norwich had to work very, very, very hard. And Dean Smith was probably going, I don't really want to change that in here. It's working. They're going to get tired, but it's working at the moment. And that goal for them, you could see when they scored, he was absolutely delighted and rightfully so. But I just felt it's 47, 48 minutes. We'll be all right. We just need to keep playing. Thor says, thoughts and prayers for the Ev. How will they resolve the conflict next week? Can't be happy with a City win and can't be happy we were an Everton win. Yeah, that's how it goes. Beating 2-0 at Southampton today. But it's all right. Frank knows it's their life, so it's all good. And they'll have the flag during the week, I'd say. He changes it, Kev.
Yeah.
He changes it and he makes moves. He takes off Ox and Keita. He puts on Thiago and Origi. Goes 4-4-2. You know, and Mane gets the
situation. Yeah, but Klopp knows the situation straight away. One goal isn't enough. You have to get two.
Yeah.
And you have to give yourself enough time to do it. And I didn't expect him to bring on Origi, but it was definitely the right call because we needed someone to play off.
Bit of physicality, because you would have thought in normal circumstances Minamino would have been the choice off the bench.
Yeah.
But Minamino is, in stature and the way he wants to play, is similar to Salah, similar to Mane, similar to Diaz, where he needed something different. And Origi's back, he's fit and gets on the pitch. Yeah. It's a great equaliser though. Although I think the keeper's a bit poor.
Keeper could have done better, but it was a great finish because he turned himself into a pretzel to finish it. But Thiago, when he came on, you saw the difference in what a midfielder is. And look, I think Ox and Naby Keita are very good players. Thiago is just a different level. He's just a different footballer. You know, he's one of these players that you'll pay your money to see, irrespective of who he's playing for.
Yeah.
If he was playing for Chelsea, I would sit down and watch Chelsea to watch him.
Yeah.
You know,
but
and there aren't too many players out there like that.
But this is why, in my opinion, you don't drop both him and Fabinho.
Yeah,
I'm all about the options and I'm all about moving players around. But if you don't want to play Fabinho today, you put Henderson in and you put Thiago beside him. If you don't want to play Thiago, you put Fabinho in and you put Henderson in there. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because you need the way we want to play, and I don't know if it's not obvious to people, but you need someone to protect, someone to control and someone to penetrate. And them two are vitally important to it. They can't play every game, but you could see the drop off in the control. Although we had loads of field possession and territory and all that, I'm talking about a lack of control. I'm talking about a control where when Thiago gets on it, he's going to move the other team around and he's going to hit passes that you don't even see. You know, that sort of way. And it's very hard to compare him to any player, I think, in our squad with that sort of passing range. But that's why the midfield worried me a bit. But look, we get the equaliser. I was delighted for Mane as well because he tried really hard today, playing centrally.
It's a new position for him, and you know he's played right, he's played left, he's played in a 10, but playing as an out and out 9 in meaningful games, he hasn't done that often, and he doesn't do it at international level very often either. So he needed the goal. You could tell he needed the goal because of the way, you know, he hasn't been in top form. Even when he was playing for Senegal, he still missed an awful lot of chances in that AFCON. And coming back, he's had a couple of half chances, and even today, he could have had a hat-trick today for the chances that he missed.
Yeah.
But the way he turned himself into a pretzel for that goal was great finish.
And we get that on, I think it's 64. We score that one. And, you know, Sexy Saturn says 10 out of 10 for the fans today. Incredible noise when we needed to start the comeback. And, you know, their goal is probably the trigger where the fans go, oh, right, we're just...
Yeah, there's a game on there.
There's a game on now. And we did up, I think the team up the levels. I think the fans up the levels. And then Salah makes it 2-1. An assist from Alisson Becker. Norwich on the attack. Alisson gets it. Hits this long raking ball. Slips as he hits it. Salah is very cool in what he does. You know, he gets in on goal. The keeper comes out to me kind of, I can't go around him. I'll just go back the other way. 2 defenders are all over the place. Rolls in the net. But how are Norwich letting him in from a 70-yard?
Panic. Pure panic.
Do you think it's panic because we were attacking and all of a sudden they're just lashing long balls over the top of us?
It's because of who it is and where he is. You have Salah, he's central, and you're on the back. You're not set. You're not in a line of 4 with protection. So his composure for that is unreal. The amount of strikers who would have panicked or who would have taken it on and just whipped, tried to lash it. He just rolls it back and side foots it into the space. It was such a good goal.
Yeah.
When you see it back, the more you see it, you see how composed he is. He knew exactly what he was doing.
And it's crucial that we, I think,
it was vital.
Like Salah score or Mane scores, right? And, it's great, we're back on level terms. But Norwich straight away would have been thinking to themselves, okay, listen, let's hold out for another, it was 64 Mane scores. Let's hold out till 75. And then we might make changes and then they'll get a bit jittery and could we open up chances for ourselves. Even though they went on the attack an awful lot. But to get that second goal, Kev, was huge, wasn't it? Because it puts us ahead, and now Norwich, although they might stick to some sort of game plan where they look for the big last 10, it's the kick on it gives Liverpool, and it's the momentum it gets, and the crowd is up, and it's not like Norwich can just kind of hang in there because Liverpool are going for the throat then.
Yeah, I mean, from the time he went 4-4-2, the game became a little bit more open, but we were creating a lot more chances. We were really getting at him, and there was a lot more movement and fluidity in the forward players as well. They were popping up in different areas. I thought Joe Gomez held his position pretty well at right back. He held back a bit, which allowed Tsimikas to really bomb on, and he was more like a left winger towards the end of the last 15 minutes. He was so much energy for someone who hasn't played regular football for a while. He was non-stop. He was relentless.
Yeah.
And it just gave you so many options because it allowed Diaz to come centrally with Origi, and it gave Sadio a free roll. And the Norwich back 4 and the midfielders will be like, who the hell did you pick up?
Well, that's
no
the
matter
difference.
which way you look.
That's the difference in the changes he makes and the approach he gets, because somebody says there when Thiago comes on the pitch, he's basically telling people 4-2-4. And instead of Diaz in the first half, coming a bit deep and inside, Keita sitting deep, Ox getting a bit lost, You know, Gomez isn't going to charge forward and create loads for you, although we think he done all right first half,
Yeah, I
especially
think he'd done okay.
in that sense. When you make those changes, Liverpool are basically saying, right, we're putting Diaz out there, we're putting Salah, we're putting Mane, and we're adding one more into the mix in the middle, in Origi. And we've all the confidence now that, you know, both our fullbacks can get up and down, and our two lads in midfield, Henderson will press you, and Thiago, if you give him the ball, he'll just move you around all over the place. And that's where Norwich's issues came from. The fact that we put extra men up there and committed ourselves more, and you know, kept within the game. I thought it was huge. But
Thiago, when he got on the ball, you were right in what you were saying about the first half. He committed players, and if he couldn't go past them, he laid it off and allowed the ball to do the work.
Yeah.
But he made them come to him first to create space. And there was one bit in the second half where Joe Gomez had to open his legs up, and I can't remember. It might have been Pookie that was through, but Matip had made a slip, and the Norwich forward was almost in, and Gomez just opened his legs up and went. And that was a pace I was looking to see all game. I was like, is that still there? Does he have the confidence in himself to slip himself and let himself go? And he did. It was good to see. I thought he had overall, for someone who hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah.
That was his first Premier League start.
Yeah. I thought he was really good.
He was really good for someone who hasn't played in a good while.
Just a little note on Firmino. Chris Brack says Klopp's comments on Firmino. He didn't feel it in the game versus Inter, but he's out for a while, which is interesting because he plays and he finishes the game against Inter.
Yeah,
and we just have to wait and see.
Adrenaline can mask an awful lot of things. So.
So he could be out for a bit. We'll have to see what happens with Jota. But right now, you're probably looking at Origi getting more time, Minamino getting more time. We have got Diaz, we have Salah, and we have Mane. So again, we had great options. Two of them look down at the moment. We'll have to see how long it will be. Let me see. Red Steve says that was me. That was me that said that, Gav. Feel free to use any of my comments as your own. I didn't use it as my own. I said, somebody just said, he came on and said 4-2-4, if that's what you're relating to. So I just didn't name you. Very, very touchy for a Saturday afternoon. After that, I think we're fairly in control, Kev. You know, we're on top of them. They're finding it harder and harder to get out. They're tiring. And it's topped off by a goal from Luis Diaz. It's a really good ball from Henderson. Again, better movement, more advantage
really nice
with the
way
ball.
To pass.
Yeah, but that's not what we were seeing in the first half.
No.
This is what I'm trying to say. In the first half, it was all side to side, you know, very little movement. Players not pulling out of position to let others run in. Where this one was perfect. This one was like Gomez gets it. I think it's Thiago passes it to Hendo, and Hendo just sees a gap because we've manufactured that gap for someone to run into. And Diaz takes off into it. It's a great force touch, and it's a brilliant, brilliant finish, isn't it?
It's a lovely finish, and the confidence you hope that will give him going forward will be fantastic for him. It's important, I think, for any new signing, especially a forward signing coming into. It must be intimidating. You know, you're coming into a front four that are either world class or are on the verge of it. You know, with Salah, Jota, Mane, and Bobby, that you have to prove yourself if you want to compete with them and get their respect and show why the manager bought you. And he does. While he was a bit anonymous in the first half, when we went 4-2-4, 4-4-2, he was much better. He went centrally, and he became more involved in the game. And he's so strong. Yeah. Physically, for someone who's coming into the league on the ball, he is really, really strong. Really impressed with his second half.
And the thing is, like, you'll see him go centrally, you'll see him go left, you'll see him. But the first half, I think he looked a bit confused as to, am I meant to stay out here? Am I meant to get in a bit narrower? Because you do see Mane do that, where you'd have, say, a Thiago in the 8, you'll have Robertson wide, and you will see Mane start off inside him and make those runs down the line to get it off him. And I think he was trying that, but because we didn't have that extra body, you know, in that area of the pitch in the first half, I think Diaz looked a bit confused for me. And when he got on it, he was quite good. Like, he does have that shot first half that goes to Bender in the top corner. He's not far off. But you can't see him. It seemed like it was a light bulb moment. You know, when we go to that 4-2-4, and he's like, "Oh, I can go in here now and I can make these runs," and it was working an awful lot better for him. But he
In
makes
fairness, Sadio was probably that bit better when he was out wide.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know what I mean? They are used to, like, although they're quite multifunctional, they do like certain parts of the pitch that they like to play in, and that's absolutely fair enough. The big thing about the goal for me is, like I said, it's a brilliant ball from Henderson. It's like a slide rule pass, and he gets onto it, right? And the funny thing is, if you watch him the other night against Inter, he gets a very similar pass from Trent. It's closer to him that Trent hits it, but he takes that touch. Yeah, he takes a touch and he goes to take. I think he goes to take another one when he should hit it first time. Whereas this one, he knows touch finish. Yeah, you know, sort of way. And obviously, the confidence.
You could tell
there.
That was a finish. That's a finish he's done 100 times.
But
500 times.
That's a finish of a finisher for me, because it would have been very easy for him to take that on his right foot and try hammer it with his left. You know, hammer it low to the keeper's right, but he doesn't. He just takes it, and it's a little clip, and it's in the corner of the net, and the place go mad. And he has been the Suarez song has been now adopted for Diaz, so we'll have to see how people react to that. Liverpool don't usually go back on old songs and give it to new players, but
no, we'll see how it pans out. But
if it works, it works.
It was nice to hear it ringing around Anfield for the right reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, look, I mean, result is all that matters, but it was nice to see him get his goal and top off with a good second half performance. You know, despite their goal, I just had a quick glance at the stats before we came on. I think we had like 70% possession overall, 20 odd attempts on goal, 13 or something from outside the box.
I always look for. I know when I'm looking.
We caught him offside 5 times as well.
Yeah, when I'm looking at the stats, I kind of look at, you know, like we've 29 shots to their 6. They have 1 on target, which is the goal. We have 622 passes to their 215. We've 397 passes in their half. More passes in their half than in theirs. They have 65 in their half and 150 in their own. So you can see how kind of dominant Liverpool were, and the result came in the end. You know, and we didn't panic. I like that about us. We didn't panic. We did make changes, but we didn't make changes where you go, "What the fuck is this?" We just made changes to get players into the game more and commit ourselves a bit more and give them something more to think about. Because as much as we have lots of possession and stuff like that, sometimes it can be a bit of a smoke screen for actually how the game is going. You know, Match asks Gav, which he's asked this earlier, which player from the opposition would you take today? None of them.
No,
none of them. I think Rashik is a good player, but I wouldn't put him in the Liverpool side.
No, I thought Max Aarons did okay. But again, is he going to leave a Norwich to sit on the bench and maybe get 4 or 5 starts in a season when he's well capable of playing for most mid-table Premier League sides?
Yeah,
and starting for him, I don't think he is. So
no, there wouldn't be anyone on that side today where I go, I'd get him for Liverpool. I thought the midfield done quite well in the first half. They tried to play, which, in fairness,
most sides don't.
But that's Norwich's biggest downfall in the last couple of years, especially in the Premier League, where they try overplay and they don't have another way of playing, where they mixed it up a little bit today, in fairness to them, under Dean Smith. Before we go, man of the match.
Joe, it's a tough one, but I give it to Salah because I thought Brandon Williams, he ran him ragged, and I felt everything that he tried worked. You know, he had some really good efforts as well. Some good crosses into the box, didn't quite work out. Got his goal. There's 2 or 3 you could give it to, but I give it to Mo. I thought he was really good today.
Okay.
Spurs
have gone 1 up at the Etihad against
Pardon my language.
Man City. It's all right. It's beyond the watershed. 5 o'clock. Man of the match, I think, I thought Salah was very good. Like, I thought he was their absolute. He was just an outlet all the time. You know, and he was at them all the time. And Salah will always make some strange decisions in the game, and sometimes he will be. Sometimes he will look a bit selfish, but Jesus, like, you know, I thought he was really good. Yeah, I think I'll probably have to go with Salah. I think I mentioned for Joe Gomez coming back, like you said.
But Gomez and Tsimikas were good as well. You know, they offered with Tsimikas ran forever. You know,
he
and
did.
some of
He
his
never stopped.
some of his deliveries were really good. It's just no one in there. You know, and when he needed to come out and turn it around and play the other way, he was fine. He was defending was really good. Should have scored.
Yeah,
should have scored.
I think if he scores that, he's right up there for man of the match.
Because
he's open to scoring and stuff like that. Yeah. Let me see. Red Steve said he was out in the garden earlier and had to swap for a thinner hoodie. It's not easy, this fleece game, so respect to you. There's not an awful lot of work in it. Basically, like I said, I have about 4 or 5 of them that just hang around the house. I just put them on at different times, you know. So, but don't slag the fleece; they're good. I'm in a t-shirt today. It's warm in the house today, but overall,
that's Dragon Ball football.
Spurs scored too early. 5 minutes in is not a good time to score. Do it at 5 minutes from the end, and you might have a chance. But we'll see how it goes. Let's go with Salah. I think I'd give a mention to Gomez for his first game back, but overall, I think Salah was very good. He gets a goal. That's 150 for Liverpool now, which is absolutely amazing. We'll be back tomorrow night at 10 p.m. with the Fatback 4, and next week the Cop Update should be with you every day bar Thursday. I won't be here on Thursday, but every day bar Thursday. I mean, we've loads of shows all through the week as well. Make sure to check out Féileacáin. Link in the description for their website and for the donate page. We're doing quite well at the moment. But if you can donate, brilliant. If not, share wherever you can, because we're determined to get to this 10 grand by the 10th of June, and I think we can do it with the help of the people that know the podcast, help of the people in this chat, in our Telegram chat app, across social media. I think we can definitely do it. Check out BetMate as well. We're terrible at it, but it's really good to keep an eye on. And your link is in the description as well. You go in there, you click on it, takes you about a minute to set up. You can have a free pot when you do it. Absolutely nothing has to be put in there, and you can see how it works and take it from there. But always remember to gamble responsibly. All right, that is it. Kev, anything else before we go?
No, just looking forward now to I'll go and watch the Spurs game, and then we got the American fight tonight.
Yep, and then back to Liverpool on Wednesday against Leeds at Anfield. Right,
it's coming thick and fast.
That's been it. That has been the full-time Reds from me and Kev. Thanks for all the likes, the shares, the subscribers if you've subscribed, and all the comments, of course, that are always brilliant on every show that we do. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.